Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Stock Durbar with Team William Hill India. I'm Rushit Seshpal, Equity Analyst at William Hill India. So, as always, we start with the Nifty's chart. And so, should we wait for a minute to let some other participants in? Well, let's wait for some 30 seconds so we can let a few others in. Good evening, Jayant, Vinod, and everyone over here. Okay, so let's start the today's session of Stock Durbar. So I hope you all had a great Holi. Even the markets had a great Holi yesterday. The color was green by the time we closed at 3:30. But today, if you can see today's candle, yeah, the paint was again red on the street. If you see over here, the high of the previous day, that is the Wednesday's high of 766, gave some resistance. And Nifty reversed from that resistance. And yeah, if you can see overall the market is in a rally attempt. So if I do some annotations for you, so if you see over here, the bottom was established, that is 17,255 is the level, Nifty's bottom, right? From there we saw 3 days higher, and so yes, we are not breached 255 for next 3 days after closing in the green for a couple of days. So the status was changed to a rally attempt. So after rally attempt, we are now waiting for a FTD, that is follow through day, 1.5% gain on a volume higher than the previous session. So that is what we are looking for. So if you see Nifty's chart, there is a very strong resistance near the 800 to 850 zone. So in this zone, we have a 10-week moving average, वो भी कुछ 790, 800 के around है, and 50-day moving average, which is somewhere around 840. So these levels are important to break. So once we move above these levels on a relatively higher volume, and then we can confidently say that, okay, yes, now the market might go for a follow through day, and we can also turn the buy switch on. But till then, it's a very choppy market. But overall, not only the technicals, but a lot of news flows and macros will be there. Tomorrow, that is March 10, so US job data will be coming. And if you might have seen a couple of days back, when we had that uh, holiday on Tuesday, Jerome Powell's speech was there in US, and he was telling that रेट हाइक और भी हो सकता है, क्वांटम भी बड़ा हो सकता है, because inflation अभी कंट्रोल में नहीं है. And that had some negative sentimental impact on the market. जो 25 bips का estimate था in the meeting, the next meeting is on March 2020, yeah, March 22, ठीक है. मार्च 22 की जो मीटिंग है उसमें पहले 25 बिप्स रेट हाइक का एक्सपेक्टेशन था, बट नाउ दैट एक्सपेक्टेशन हैज इंक्रीज टू 50 बिप्स. So almost 70% plus expectation of a 50 bips. But before that March 22 meeting, there are two key events. First is tomorrow, that is March 10 job data. The second is on March 14, that is CPI data. And I think these two data will be very much important, because yesterday also the Fed governor, the Fed chair said that we have not yet decided on the quantum of rate hike for the next meeting, but they will be looking at these data. So this March 10 and 14 data are very important. अगर inflation 6.1 6.2 से ऊपर आया, which is the ideal expected range 6 to 6.2, then you might see that the probability of 50 bips will be much higher. And even after that, if the market is trying to price in looking at the high inflation कि हाँ अभी यहाँ पे rate hike बंद हो जाएगा, then that is not the case. I think that is very clear. And some point market might discount that as well. But overall, the currently the scenario is in the range bound market as far as the Nifty is concerned. The 800 850 is the resistance. On the downside, we might see that 400 to 500 might give some good support. So there is this 200 DMA between that level 400 and 500. So ये range में अभी Nifty घूम रहा है. Overall, we have seen that many of the stocks, अब आप 2-3 दिन में देखे काफी सारे stocks have bottomed out and they are trying to move from the low. There are multiple breakouts that we have seen. A lot of stocks hitting 52-week high. In fact, the power sector is doing really good. The PFC, the REC, Power Mac, other power stocks are doing really well. Some infra-related names like NCC has done well. So even Hoodco has rebounded from its low. So many of these infra-related, the power-related names are doing well and hitting new highs. Also the capital goods, Siemens, Cummins, दोनों ने आज नया fresh 52-week high बनाया. So that's good. And yes, guys, please do not consider this as a investment advice to buy or sell the security. It's a clear disclaimer that whatever we discuss today, even the index levels or the stocks, that is just for the knowledge sharing purpose. So yeah, we will be having that session of Q&A. So just in 5 to 7 minutes, we will start Q&A session. So please do not post it now. So yes, overall, the macros, a lot of events are lined up. And technically, Nifty 8850 is the resistance, 500 to 600 is the support. What we are looking at is reclaim of the key moving averages, that is 50 DMA and 10-week moving average to turn on the buy switch. And yes, most importantly, follow through. So I think in March, the market might set a trend either way. But yeah, it is quite possible that we set in the March. So if we look at even the banks, so Nifty Bank is facing resistance to move above its 50 DMA. So this is what has exactly happened in Nifty a couple of weeks back. 50 DMA पे resistance मिल रहा है. Same is now going through Bank Nifty. So I think today's candle is not updated over here in this chart, but yes, today it has gone a bit down. It is not able to reclaim its 50 DMA. On the flip side, it is trading above its 21 DMA, the green line, which is positive. PSU banks, private banks, PSU had a very good year last year, last few months, but now after that Adani saga and all, there was some pullback in the PSU bank stocks, and now they are trying to form a potential bottom and rebound from there. But overall, the fundamentals remains intact. The asset quality, NIM, credit growth, everything is robust. So no two ways about there. But yeah, it is just the technical thing. Plus the rate hike scenarios whenever it is going on, the dollar index strengthening a bit. So might be some impact over here in the Bank Nifty. But the best way now to look at the Bank Nifty is, look for the levels. So closing about this 50-day moving average, that is 41,600, 650 zone के ऊपर बंद होता है. Then there is first positive indication. Then closing about 42,000, then that is the second positive indication. And if we get a follow through day on the Nifty, then you might see that Bank Nifty might move towards a fresh high. क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक trend line भी बन रहा है. So somewhere if we move about that 42,000 level, then that will be very positive for Bank Nifty. So yeah, two levels over here, 650, that's 41,650 and 42,000 to look for. If we look at the FMCG index, it is moving sideways, consolidating. So previous जो quarter था अभी जिसका result है सबका, overall you might have seen that the growth is decent, like not a major problem in the FMCG. Still rural demand is not picking up. अगर आप autos में देख लीजिए, या फिर FMCG में देख लीजिए, रूरल डिमांड इज नॉट पिकिंग अप. एंड इनफैक्ट इफ यू डाइव डीपर इनटू द रिजल्ट, आई थिंक द ग्रोथ वाज मोर ऑन द वैल्यू फ्रंट एंड नॉट ऑन द वॉल्यूम फ्रंट. जो FMCG में एक देखा जाता है कि वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, सो वो वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ नहीं मिल रहा है FMCG में. बट हाँ, ड्यू टू प्राइस इंक्रीज, ड्यू टू द प्राइस increase, there has been some value-wise growth, and also the EBITDA is under control because they have cut the expenses. अगर ad revenue देखे, sorry, advertise expense देखे, तो वो कम हो गया है. Other cost they are trying to control. So cost cutting, lower advertising budget, उसकी वजह से EBITDA थोड़ा better दिख रहा है. But overall, not a very rosy picture for FMCG as well. Some problem from the rural side and some problem on the volume growth. However, इतना problem नहीं है क्योंकि एक basic growth मिल रहा है. So ऐसा नहीं है कि you might see some sell off over here or some major downgrades might come in this sector. But yes, overall you are looking for some tailwinds at this sector. And now if you connect, अभी मैं जो बोल रहा था कि advertising expense. So when these FMCG companies cut their advertising cost, that will directly impact the media companies. अगर आप जी का देखिए, सन टीवी देखिए, जो भी बड़े बड़े लिस्टेड प्लेयर्स हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ मीडिया, सो वहां पे अगर ये लोग अपना कॉस्ट कटिंग करेंगे एड रेवेन्यू पे, एड स्पेंडिंग पे, तो उनका एड रेवेन्यू कम होगा सामने, राइट? सो ultimately it might have some ripple effect on the companies who do well on the basis of the advertisement revenues. That's why some media might be also under pressure looking at the FMCG's data of revenue expenses. But ऐसा नहीं है. Here there are pocket of strength even in FMCG. Just to take an example of ITC, look at the cigarette growth, volume growth, value growth, दोनों मिल रहा है, ठीक है? And VBL, Varun Beverages, excellent growth. I think someone just commented also about Varun Beverage. We'll take it when we discuss the Q&A. But yes, the Varun Beverage, the growth was very good. Even if you see the jewelry, the QSR, restaurant, personal care, ये segment में भी एक decent growth मिला था. हाँ, more on a price-led growth, rather more on the price-led growth and not the volume growth. So once we see this quarter that हाँ volume growth मिल रहा है, then you might see some very good momentum in the FMCG stocks. Autos, if we look at, story has not changed much, guys. From the last time, the rural sales yet to improve. The CV segment demand is good. In fact, मार्च में जो BS6 फेज है अपना engine का, so BS6 का phase 2 implementation हो रहा है April 2023 से. And due to that reason, there is some demand before that implementation takes place. So CV segment में अच्छा demand है अभी, क्योंकि एक बार वो implement हो गया BS6 फेज 2, उसके बाद 3-4-5% थोड़ा हाई प्राइस हो जाएगा प्रोडक्ट्स का. सो दैट इज व्हाई the CV segment demand is good, and yes, PV is doing very good. I think since last 1 or 2 years, PV segment में काफी अच्छा growth है, and that is continuing. Overall, जो last year था उसके अगर compare करें तो commodity cost have come down, so margin might be a little better for these companies. But yes, now I think it is with the steel prices and the other commodity prices are forming some bottom, so there not be a major advantage. But yes, overall अगर last year से compare करें तो raw material cost में एक notable decline आया है. So last, let's look 1 or 2 sector more and then move to your question. So if we look at Nifty metals, so yeah, metal index was down a bit, but now it is improving. So overall, जो एक cooking coal होता है, that is a main raw material for these, especially steel companies, which are very heavy in this metal index. That has dropped a lot. So जो cooking coal का price है वो काफी नीचे आ गया है. It's a notable drop over there, and that will result into a good margins for these steel companies. Also, demand is not a problem. The domestic demands, the domestic price as well as the international price, वहाँ पे बहुत कटौती नहीं आया है, क्योंकि चाइना में अभी वो ग्रोथ फोरकास्ट थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है कि 5% कर दिया. बट ओवरऑल इफ यू लुक एट द चाइनीज रियल एस्टेट मार्केट, तो इतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं है विच कैन नेगेटिवली इम्पैक्ट द प्राइजेस, और थोड़ा डंपिंग का प्रॉब्लम हो, लो प्राइजेस हो जाए, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. तो ब्रॉडली इट माइट होल्ड अ बिट. as far as the metal stocks are concerned, especially the steel. क्योंकि आप दूसरी साइड अगर देखिए नॉन फेरस मेटल्स में अगर देखिए, ठीक है, कॉपर, एल्यूमिनियम, जिंक, लेड, निकल, ये सब में प्राइस इरोजन हुआ है ओवर द लास्ट मंथ और सो. यहाँ पे थोड़ा प्राइस ड्रॉप हुआ है नॉन फेरस मेटल्स में, बट yeah, the steel is doing good. The demand as well as the input cost normalization, that is better for the metals. So we'll discuss other sectors as well, but let's go to your questions, and in between, whenever we find, we will discuss about the sectors if required. Otherwise, the focus will be on your questions. So please do not post the question multiple times. Me and my colleague Rajshekhar has joined the room, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. Yes, Binod is telling IT. Let's take IT and then go for some Q&As. So see, IT, nothing more has changed. The growth forecast in the US, Europe, जो एक रिसेशन वाला सिनेरियो बन रहा था H1 में 23 के, वो that has not happened. Two things, either we are going for a little softer landing, hard landing, but अभी जो बात आया नया है कि no landing, so that scenario is not that good for the IT stock. वो पूरा घुटेगा. It might consolidate. The IT stock might consolidate as of now. But once we see that the growth scenarios in the Europe and US is clear, there might be some action on either side for the IT stock. But till now, see, order book and overall the new orders are good. I think margins अभी थोड़ा stable हो गया है. Attritions का अभी इतना problem नहीं है. So lot of things are okay for the IT sector, but overall जो एक growth का visibility होता है, that is only set through the GDP growth in the US as well as the Europe, because most of our IT companies have high exposure in have trade due to the US and the European market. So let's see how the things go out there. But looking at technicals as of now is the best way to look at it. अभी 50 DMA पे अच्छा support मिल रहा है. So let's see if we can continue to get 50 DMA support for the IT index. And once we break about this 21 DMA, और ये जो पूरा 31,200 500 पे फंस जाता है IT सेक्टर आके, वहां से एक बार निकल जाता है, ब्रेकआउट देता है, it looks like a cup with handle type of formation in this index. So yeah, once we are above this level, then it's a good time to look for the best stock in the IT sector. But till then, you need to be careful.
Hi, Rishit, Rajshekhar here. I'll make some queries now.
Sure.
Okay, I'll start with some power-related queries. Already, lots of power grid, REC, PFC. As mentioned already by Rishit in the introduction related to power stocks, most of the stocks are doing pretty good. They are either forming right side of the base patterns, or some of the stocks have already broken out and are already trading above their previous resistance and pivot levels, which is a very so definitely power stocks are leading in the current market. Even though the market is not doing is not finding momentum on the market side, but the power related stocks are doing pretty much good, which is a clear indication of leadership in the market. Talking about power grid specifically, you can see stock had moved sideways for the last almost an year, near around 220, 230 levels. And you can see its moving averages have also converged completely. This is because the stock is moving sideways. So logically, 50, 200, 100 EMS will also converge likewise. However, recently you can see the stock has reclaimed these levels and forming right side of the base patterns. Though the stock is still 9% to the pivot, but the stock is definitely finding good buying. If you see the price volume action wise, whenever the stock is closing on the higher side, the volumes have also been on the higher, indicating good accumulation happening in the stock. Moving on to next REC stock, which is again a subsidiary of PFC, which is related to lending, financial lending to power-related companies. This stock is doing pretty good. You can see here in the last 7 to 8 trading sessions, the stock continued to rally higher and reclaimed its 50 DMA. And currently, it is in the today's session, it broken out from its stage one flat B base, but on the closing basis, is closed near its pivot. Overall, it is looking very good on the technical side, and the fundamental side also it is looking good. EPS of 84 indicates a strong, fundamentally a strong company. So there is no problem related to EPS. Technicals are also pointing a very good outperformance. You can see OH, which is off ice, which indicates overhead supply as well, which is just stock is just 1.5% below its all-time high. So definitely it is a very good leading stock in the current market. Likewise, other stocks, PFC and other TD Power Systems are also doing very good in the space. I'll take yeah, this is a TD Power Systems stock. It has broken out recently the last couple of sessions, and yesterday's session was pretty good. You can see the stock closed 9%, and the volume was also very good, indicating very clear signs of outperformance and strong accumulation happening in the stock. Ratings wise, if you see, the stock is doing very well on the Vodil parameters, starting with the EPS of 93, technical parameters with the RS rating of 91, A by D rating of A, indicating clear outperformance of the stock both on fundamental and technical front. Clearly, momentum stock which is broken out from its stage 5B indicates a clear performance of the stock. Even though the market is not doing well, the stock was able to break out from the stage 5B. It is not a easy for any stock to continue to break out and form another base pattern and continue again break out from that base pattern. This is a clear scenario of a big winner if you are able to find out these kind of stocks from stage one, stage two breakouts. Definitely, you will be able to make a good set of returns. There are lots of there are lots of queries already.
Yeah. So we'll try to answer as many as possible. So we'll take it randomly. So there is one question on Olectra Greentech. So I'll not take chart, but yes, it is very simple. It's a news-based run-up. So TSRTC say it got an order, Telangana State Road Transport Corporation. It got an order of around 550 electric buses, and the worth is somewhere around 1,000 crore. So that's the reason why the stock is up almost 70-80% in last few sessions. There's a market cap of just 5,000 crore, and I think if we ignore this run, the market cap was somewhere around 3,500 crore. और अभी उसको order मिला है almost 1,000 crore का. And so it's a big order. Even its full year revenue is somewhere around 1,000 crore. So yes, the very good order book. And स्पेशली जो एक सेंटिमेंटल होता है कि ईवी स्पेस में अभी ये कंपनी ग्रो करने को रेडी है, वो भी एक इम्पैक्ट करता है. इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट द वैल्यू कि मार्जिन कितना है, वैल्यू कितना है, बट समटाइम इट हैपेंस दैट एक सेंटिमेंटल इम्पैक्ट आता है कि अभी इतना बड़ा ये स्टेट से ऑर्डर मिला. That clearly indicates the capacity of the company. The future of the company looks brighter because it can get some better orders as well. It can go from other states as well. So that is a sentimental impact, but there are no stage formation, and it was a bottom fishing type of thing. Okay, so there is a question on infra and realty index as a whole. Let's take the index only. Yeah, the index is struggling. There's no major tailwind over here for the index. However, if you see the inventory level are very low, it is not that ki selling nahi ho raha hai flats ka. The inventory level is quite low. The sales volumes have stabilized above the pre-pandemic level. Plus, the good part is that the launches are catching up the demand. But I think the higher commodity prices, increasing interest rate. So whenever there is this higher interest rate cycle, जब भी interest rate बढ़ने वाला cycle होता है, उस time ये reality index पे थोड़ा pressure रहता ही है. Because see, from here we are discussing कि अभी Fed क्या करेगा, 25 बढ़ाएगा, 50 बढ़ाएगा, 2 बार 3 बार कितना बढ़ाएगा, ठीक है. So it is not that RBI will stop. There are high chances that some catch up RBI might need to do. और ऊपर से ये अल नीनो का बात चल रहा है. आई थिंक सम ऑफ यू माइट बी नोइंग दिस हु आर रेगुलरली वाचिंग द न्यूज़. सो इफ वी फेस दिस अल नीनो सिचुएशन, in this situation what happens, the rainfall is impacted especially in the southwest monsoon. अभी अगर साउथ वेस्ट मानसून इम्पैक्ट हुआ तो हमारा जो अभी इंडिया का स्ट्रेंथ है कि हम इन्फ्लेशन से बचे हुए हैं क्योंकि हमारा पिछले कुछ मानसून अच्छे गए थे, हमारा क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन अच्छा है, ठीक है, कपल ऑफ खरीफ प्लस रबी सीजन दोनों अच्छा रहा था. सो फूड ग्रेन्स प्लस ऑयल सीड हमारे पास सरप्लस में था. बट अभी क्या होगा कि अगर ये अल नीनो की वजह से इफ दिस मॉनसून इज गेटिंग इम्पेक्टेड, देन द खरीफ क्रॉप जो कि जून टू सितंबर में होता है उस पर थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट आएगा. प्लस उसके बाद जो रिजर्वोयर फिल होते हैं ये रेनफॉल से, उससे रबी सीजन का काम चलता है, तो वहां पे भी इम्पैक्ट आएगा. So that will have a negative impact on the food grains as well as the oilseed का जो production है. And once this production is low, it will add on to inflation. क्योंकि अभी मिल्क का देखो, कुछ पल्सेस का देखो ऑलरेडी प्राइस हाई है. समर आते वेजिटेबल के प्राइसेस बढ़ने लगते हैं. यू माइट सी within a week or two you will see lot of memes about that lemon prices. ठीक है, बट वो हर साल का होता है. सो इन्फ्लेशन ऑलरेडी एड अप हो जाता है. And in this kind of global scenario, in this kind of domestic scenario, it is not that RBI will lower their guards, because they are also, in line. They have done really well to fight the inflation, to maintain the growth. So they will have some thing left in their pocket to increase the rate. So in these kind of scenarios, ultimately, if I again come from this monsoon and agree to the realty, so this will have some negative impact, the sentimental impact on the realty shares. Yes, exactly. This is what Samir is saying. That's good judgment, Samir. Nothing related to option trading app as of now. We will see if there's something, but yeah, overall we don't trade options at O'Neill. So Ankush has a question: when you start model portfolio addition? So a couple of weeks back we had some quality names in our model portfolio. In fact, we had added Power Finance Corporation only at 149. Yes, at 149 हमने add किया था. After that, the good dividend also came in of 3.5 rupees. बट जब मार्केट डाउन ट्रेंड में गया फिर से वो 251 17 250 के अराउंड आया. दैट टाइम वी हैड एग्जिटेड द स्टॉक. So Prashad, I am not telling that El Nino will affect the realty index, and I'm not trying to say that. So please, you can check it again.
Okay, Rishit, I'll take few stock related queries now. I'll start with Bajaj Finance and HDFC Bank. Starting with Bajaj Finance, which is a very big player in the finance space, especially in the NBFC space. Fundamentally, a very good company. The company was able to generate good growth, even now with 30-40% growth on its profits and 25 to 30% consistent growth on the sales, which is not a easy task for a company of this market cap. Almost 300 of lakh crore market cap. So still the company is able to generate these kind of returns. That is the reason the stock price was also ballooned in the last in the last decade. If you see, the stock price went up so much. This is because of the company's ability to generate these growth numbers. Coming to specific this 1 year period, the stock is underperforming and is not able to find new momentum to take stock higher and find new all-time highs. This is majorly because the stock has already priced in most of the growth estimates. The company, the most of the analysts were expecting higher growth rates, and the company delivered those growth rates. But the overall estimates about the future growth, and there is a question that will the company able to generate these kind of uh, can the company sustain with these kind of growth rates going forward? So these are the basic fundamental questions will definitely be there for a company of this size. So that might be the lagging factor for this stock. And also the stock technically it has deteriorated much because of this underperformance. Price strength has deteriorated to 40, and the stock breached its key moving averages 50, 200, 100 DMAs, which is not a good sign. This is a very rare side. Stocks like Bajaj Finance and other leading growing stocks will rarely breach their moving averages, but by going with price volume action, definitely it is considered as a weak sign. Various signs are visible in this stock. Buyer demand is also not good. Uh, Selling is happening in huge numbers because you can see huge pink bars are there in the volume section, indicating huge selling happening in the stock. Once these moving averages are reclaimed on the higher side, we might expect some upward momentum. Definitely, overhead supply will act as a resistance. 7,000 levels, 7,400, 500 levels will definitely act as a resistance. Until then, 200 DMA will also act as resistance, which is at 6,500 level. Uh, so it's a very difficult trajectory going forward for the stock on the higher side. On the lower side, recent low that is 5,600 might give support for the stock. If that level is also breached, again 200, 300 point down, we have another support around 200 levels. So clearly, on the upside, we have huge resistance for the stock. On the downside, supports are also not strong enough. There are no moving averages on the downside to give support for the stock. So better to exit these kind of the stocks and move into stocks which are leading the market and which are outperforming in the current market. Next is HDFC Bank. Bajaj Finance is a leading company in the NBFC space. Likewise, HDFC Bank is a leading banking company in India. Stock has been consolidating for the last 1 year. 700 level, 1650 level has been a resistance for the stock. You can see it has tried to go above these levels, but the stock found a resistance. But the good part about this stock is that uh, on the fundamental side, there is no questions asked because of the company's credibility and the ability to generate huge growth rates both on sales and EPS quarter on quarter for the last decade. On the technical side, the stock is doing good. It has been very resilient, even though the market is down and other stocks are not doing good. This stock is holding up and it is trading near this 50 DMA, which is acting as a very good support. Recently, the stock was not able to close on the higher end, but the volume is on the higher end. Uh, that means institutions are taking positions and they are trying to take the stock higher. Then institutions will have the power to take these kind of stocks higher. Retailers cannot manipulate these kind of stocks because of the huge market cap. There is another 4% to the pivot. Uh, until then, we might see some volatile action happening. If the stock breaks out from the base pattern, definitely we might see good momentum on the higher side, and we might see good returns around 20 to 25%. If the market structure also improves for the better. Okay.
So
Okay.
next is
Yeah, Samir is asking about base pivot follow through. Okay, Samir, quickly with the help of this HDFC Bank, you can see if you click on the HDFC charts, you will see you will see that what is the base pattern. What is the base pattern the stock is forming? The stage count will also be visible. Pivot will also be visible if you click on these. These features are available only for premium subscribers. Pivot is one which will act as resistance. Once the pivot level is reclaimed, then we might it will be considered as a buy range. From there, additions will be taken to model portfolio. Uh, yeah, I think that's it. I think.
So I think more you can learn from this learning article. So you will see this, there is one option learn. So you can go over here and try to learn all these things. If you face any difficulty, just write to us. We will be happy to reply as soon as possible. So the next query is on TWL, that is Titagarh Wagons. It's a beautiful story, and I think the way their fundamental has improved, the tailwind it has. So see, India is going for a infrastructure growth. We are going for new Vande Bharat trains, new coaches of the trains. So Titagarh Wagon is one of the leading player in that. And recently, this move is due to TWL and BHEL. They both got the order to manufacture the wagons for Vande Bharat Express. So they were the number two bidders in the list. The first bidder was a Russian company, so they will be getting some 60% of the order, and the rest 40% TWN and BHEL and the common will be getting. So over already इनका order book काफी अच्छा है. So monthly इनका production they are trying to increase to 1000 plus, and so they have a huge scope. जितना बढ़ा सको ना उतना काम बढ़ाने का scope है इनके पास. So it's a beautiful growth story. No two ways about the improvement in fundamental, because when you have such a demand you can charge a bit premium also, and when you have this quality orders in hand, so that's a very positive. If you look at the weekly chart of TWL, the growth has been superb. So in during COVID fall, it went to around 2025 levels, and from there it has never seen back, and multiple stage formations and breakouts have happened in TWL. Recently also on the weekly front it broke out, and it's in the stage 3. If you can see, TWL is completed the stage 3 formation on the weekly chart, and there was some question on this blue dots. So ideally the blue dots are nothing but the RS strength at the new 52-week high, and the list that you get it from the shorting and filtering the stock, that is the list that you get all the stocks making the new 52-week high in the recent times. So if in detail you can just check about details in that Q dot list. So yeah, Jignesh has a question. So yeah, it's not about the type of subscriber as of now because this is an open webinar. But yeah, looking at your query, it's about the pattern formation and the blue and pink zone. So ideally, let's take one example. Okay, let's take this PFC. So see, ideally, ये जो blue or red या pink shaded portion है, that is for the ideal buy and the sell zone. ठीक है. तो 4 to 5 week is ideal for rebreakout. Generally हम 3-4 महीने 6 महीने बाद rebreakout होता है तो that is not ideal. But 5 week 6 week it can be extended sometime in the choppy market. But yes, ideally you can take 4 to 6 weeks. So once if a stock breaks out, let's say for example PFC broke out yesterday. अभी ये नीचे जाता है थोड़ा consolidate होता है फिर से breakout होता है. But if this happens within 4 to 6 weeks, then we will consider it as a rebreakout, and this blue zone and red zone remains intact. But yeah, if it is later, then ideally it's not a valid one because you look for a fresh base formation or some alternate buy points. Okay, so now let's take a few more questions. One is on the Indian hotel. It is forming a stage 4, थोड़ा high stage है. So overall अगर आप hotel sector का देखें, So they are in a sweet spot, no doubt about that. Especially after the COVID, the hotel sector is doing really good because the discretionary just spending here on tours and travels has increased throughout the nation. So now people are okay to go for traveling, the touring, and go for some premium hotels. And especially Indian hotels are focus on the premium hotels only. And a lot of corporate events are going on. The G20 year, we have the World Cup, we have the women's IPL, we have the men's IPL. बहुत सारी इवेंट्स है, तो जो भी मेट्रो सिटी में इनके होटल है, इंडियन होटल्स के या किसी भी कंपनी के, they are fully booked. I was reading one article, I don't know if it's 100%, but ये जो वुमेन आईपीएल अभी अभी फिक्स हुआ था, तो उसके लिए होटल्स नहीं मिल रहे थे, प्रीमियम होटल्स. सच बुकिंग्स वेर देयर. इवन द मैरिजेस, अभी जो मैरिजेस प्रीमियम मैरिजेस होते हैं बड़ी बड़ी होटल्स में, वहां भी पूरा रूम बुक हो जाता है. इनका एवरेज रूम रेट, दे इट्स हायर, ऑक्यूपेंसी रेट इज हाई, एवरेज रूम रेट इज हाई. सो दोनों फ्रंट पे, रेवेन्यू प्लस मार्जिन, दोनों फ्रंट पे इनको फायदा मिल रहा है. Plus, during the COVID time, they have learned that cost reduction and all those things, and they are continuing then, and it is helping the companies, not only the Indian hotels, but other as well. But specifically, if you look at the chart of Indian hotel, it is going through a phase of consolidation. Stage 4 है. तो अगर आप नीचे की प्राइस से लिए हो, तो ideally according to O'Neill, you should have 50 DMA or 200 DMA as your stop loss, whatever it's okay for you. Generally 50 is always good. Maybe you can trim some and look for 200 then. And on the higher side, look for the stock to make a fresh high and then try to book some profit, because stage 4 का breakout है, तो success होने का chances always कम रहता है. Generally stage 1 to have a higher chances. Stage 3 is a decent chance, but stage 4 का chances low होते हैं success के. So be careful in this position. You can have your trailing stop loss, or on the higher side you can look for the profit booking. Next one I will take is Max Healthcare. So good growth for this company. Even in fact, even today, in one media, there was an interview of the CEO, or I think the CFO of the company, and he was very bullish about the new bed addition, new capacity additions. So, and even the business is doing really well for the company. It is forming a stage 3 base. So last two sessions है, that is really good. Even today, the volume was high and the 50 DMA reclaim. So ऐसा जब भी चार्ट पे दिखता है कि 50 DMA reclaim किया, high volume है, then this is something positive to look for. And even the RS has moved higher over the last few days. It's a stage 3 base. The number of fund holding has increased. Last few quarter results have been decent. So overall, it's a great setup. Look for a breakout. So it's just 6% to pivot. So you want this 6% move on a good decent volume. And whenever the stock breaks from its pivot, you want a high volume breakout. Then that's the ideal buy zone for the stock.
Rashid, I'll take a few queries now. NTPC, Tata Power. I think lots of power stocks already. I'll quickly run through the NTPC and we'll move to other stocks. Again, it might be repetitive, but the power stocks have been doing very good. The stock NTPC also is doing very good. It is just another 2% to pivot. The pivot level is broken out on the higher side. Definitely, we might see good momentum in this stock as well. Fundamentally, our ratings are good. 74 indicates good fundamental character of the stock. Our technical ratings are also likewise very good. Likewise, other companies in the sector. Only thing is that the stock is still below its pivot. If that level is taken out, definitely can consider for taking initiating positions into the stock. Though market structure is not doing very good at the current moment, but if the Nifty reclaims key levels, or the Nifty finds FTD in the next couple of sessions, then definitely these stocks will outperform the market and they'll give good set of returns within a period of 1 to 2 weeks. So always keep these kind of stocks on the radar or on the buy watch list personally as well. So next is Narayana Hrudayalaya. Again, a very good stock. It is doing very good in the recent times. It is currently trying to break out from its base pattern. Stage count is slightly on the higher side, which is stage 3C. Uh, it is very resilient in the current market. Market wise, when the market is not doing good and Nifty breaching key levels, but this stock has held on to its key levels. It has never breached its 200 EM in the recent couple of selling in the market, which shows good support for the stock. And the pivot is reclaimed, and that is another 5% from the current level. We might see good fresh buying happening in the stock. Some YouTube queries: Gujarat Fluoro and Gravita. Gujarat Fluorochemicals, a very good, fundamentally very good stock. The company has reported very good set of growth numbers for the last couple of quarters, or more than that. It has reported good set of numbers. If you can see the sales growth, it is almost 50% in the last 4 to 5 quarters, and the EPS growth is nearly 100% on each quarter, which indicates a very good growing company. The stock price also has done very good. If you look at weekly chart, you will see how the stock has performed. Most of the specialty chemicals have done similarly. Likewise, Gujarat Fluorochemical has also done very good. But recently, these of late chemical stocks have been coming under radar, and they have finding selling pressure and not able to find upward momentum like they used to find. But their stocks have been under selling pressure. Uh, this stock has also come under pressure and it breached its key moving averages. Recently, it found uh, it bottomed out near 2500 levels. Currently, it is trading near its 200 DMA. It is not able to reclaim 200 DMA clearly. Again, showing signs of resistance at the particular level. 200 DMA is a very crucial level, so stock might take few more sessions to reclaim clearly. If the volume comes in, if the institutional investors participate in fresh buying, definitely that level will be reclaimed clearly, and the stock might find good momentum going forward. Until then, it might move sideways and or it might consolidate and make a base pattern going forward.
Okay,
Next is Gravita. I'll take one more question. Gravita India. It is related to manufacturing alloys and related to lead zinc products. The company has done very good. It has reported exceptional numbers in the last 3 quarters, especially. That is the reason EPS is very strong at 93. And technical wise also, it has broken out from its stage 4B nearly November, December times at that level. And from there, the stock has advanced and it reached a profit booking zone as well, which is a green zone. However, recently the stock has come down, found some selling pressure, and we might consider this as a profit booking also because the volume is on the lower side when the stock came down. In during the this sell-off, stock breached its 50 DMA as well. Currently, it is trading near its 50 DMA. It is not able to reclaim it clearly again. That volume is missing on the higher side. Again, if that volume comes up, this is very good to hold in the model in the portfolio as well.
Thanks, Raj. We'll take a couple of queries. One is on VBL, another I will take is Gujarat Gas. So if you look at VBL, it has been an outperformer. If you look at weekly chart, it's a clear multi-bagger stock. एक बार from October 20, it has never looked back and it has hold its 200 DM and it is moving higher. Currently, it is forming a stage for a cup base on the weekly chart, and even on the daily, it has formed a stage for cup with handle. So someone was asking when to look for stage. So if you look at the first line, it's the pattern that is cup with handle. The second is stage 4. So if you want to read more about the stages, you can go to a learning article that will help you to check the stage. And one more question I will answer in this one, that is for institution. The question is that how to look at institutional participation through the number of funds or share held by funds. So I think looking at both of them is important, that even the number of fund is increasing and the share held by fund is increasing. So both the parameters are important. And this figure is on the QOQ basis. So this is compared with the last quarter. So if we look at the VBL's chart, it is forming a stage 4 base. So ideally, according to O'Neill, we try to avoid this basis. It is consolidating near its pivot. Some change of hands going over here. It is trading about key moving averages. So fresh entry from a stage 4 breakout in the market, in the current market, not advisable. Ideally, not in the any market stage 4. However, if you're holding since long, then you can keep a 50 DMA as a stop loss. So somewhere around 1271. If we breach 50 DMA on a higher volume, then these kind of growth stock tend to correct faster, and we might test the 200 DMA or that 1100, 1200, 1100 level again. So yeah, the 50 DMA can be used as a very important support. Next is on Gujarat Gas. This one is also a good story, specifically focus on the Morbi region. Their huge revenue comes from the Morbi in Gujarat, where the tiles are manufactured. So it's a tile manufacturing hub, and Gujarat Gas is the sole supplier over there. But due to the high price of gas, they have shifted to a cheaper quality of gas, and that's where all the issues are for the Gujarat Gas coming up. But overall, if you see, the setup is good. It's forming a stage 1 base, which is really good. The stage first base is something very good for a stock, and from here it can go higher. So it is just 1% below the pivot. So just look at the breakout. If the breakout is on a very good volume, it sustains throughout the day, then this stock can be the part of your watch list. RS thoda weak hai, 56 RS is little weak than what we look for. But overall, if you see the EPS, it's great. The buyer demand of B is good. So some improvement in the RS rating, though the line is trending higher, so no problem at that point. But if you see this rating improving 65, 70 plus, and the stock trading in the ideal buy zone, then that's positive. Overall, अगर आप देखो ना पिछले 4-5 महीने से तो 533, 528, 539. So this 530 to 540 zone is resistance. So in this kind of scenario, you can use pyramiding buying. So whenever the stock breaks out, you can buy some portion. So you can do some pyramiding type of thing. And when it breaks, it moves higher, you can buy a little more. And whenever it breaks above this long-term resistance of 530, 40, you can buy more. So something like that, these kind of pyramiding strategies you can use to buy on the higher side. But yeah, overall the growth story is good and the setup looks decent for Gujarat Gas. Now let's go to a couple of capital goods stocks. Query pending since long. ABB. So yeah, ABB is forming a stage 2 cup base. Excellent formation. Result इसका जोरदार आया था. All the capital goods. अगर आप ABB देखो, Siemens देखो, Cummins देखो, all the results were very very good. They were above estimate and the formation is really good. So the cup, perfect cup formation is there. Right side में डे हाई पे क्लोज हुआ है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, वॉल्यूम भी हाई है. So there is element of strength Plus, if you look at the price trend, the RS rating, the blue dot is coming. Okay, that is increasing. The EPS of 80 is good. The buyer demand is A plus. ROE of 21, the recent quarter. So it gets a tick mark on all the key factors. So let's wait for a clean breakout and market status to change, because sometimes happens कि कब के बाद handle formation बन जाता है. So let's see if it forms handle or breakout. So अभी का ये जो breakout वाला zone है, that is somewhere around 3446, or you can say broadly 3450 का level. ठीक है. That is very important to cross on a high volume. Cross कर गया उससे कुछ नहीं है, volume high होना चाहिए. So if it crosses on the high volume, then it's a clean breakout, and it can be the part of your watch list if it breaks out. Otherwise, the second scenario is कि यहाँ से एक छोटा सा handle बना ले और उसके बाद फिर से breakout हो जाता है. So these are the two scenarios for the stock. On the flip side, if you are holding the stock, then use 21 DMA. ये growth stock जो momentum में होते हैं उसके लिए 21 DMA stop loss or the first trailing stop loss is always important. So somewhere around 3200 is the 21 DMA. So look for it.
Yeah, I'll take a few queries now.
Okay.
The study is asking about three companies. Varun is already talked about, and I'll take other two queries. That is Apar Industries and Godfrey Philips. And Ankush, we try to. It's not about covering all the stocks, but we try to educate here the participants about our owning methodology by taking a few stocks, so that participants here will be able to take a decision on whether to add stocks to portfolio or whether to sell those stocks from portfolio by themselves, not depending on others for advice. So it's more of a learning process and education type of webinar that we are trying to make here. Yeah, coming to Apar Industries, the stock has done very good recently. It has broken out in the month of May, June 2022. From there, stock was able to continue to go higher, and its 50 DMA was a very good level. It kept on tracking that level, and it never breached that level. But recently, in the month of January, it came under some kind of selling pressure, and that 50 DMA was breached. Even though the fall was huge, its 200 DMA was not breached. That shows how much the stock has been trading above its 200 DMA. Again, it found new set of momentum after this sell-off in the January, and it found very good selling pressure, and you can see the volumes also. There were some record volumes came in. The average volume was around 200,000 shares, but in this huge up move, around 1.7 million shares were traded. That is the reason why volume is required. Because of these huge volumes, the stock was able to sustain the momentum, and the levels were sustained, and it didn't breach its 21 DMA as well, because institutions have taken a few positions here. You can see number of funds, share held by the funds have also increased, showing clear signs of accumulation for this stock by the institutional investors. And these institutions will hold any stock for the longer period compared to retailers like us. We hold a stock for starting with a couple of weeks to months, but these institutional investors have long-term strategy, and they give support to stock whenever there is a market-related weakness or any sector-related weakness. Then they find out a few stocks which are fundamentally doing good, and they give support to those kind of stocks. That is the reason the stocks which never breach their key moving averages are considered more stronger compared to other stocks which breach their moving averages very frequently. So on that front, this stock is looking very good. EPS of 97 indicating a strong fundamental character. You can see its EPS and sales have grown nearly 100% in the last 4 to 5 quarters, indicating a strong growth story in the company. It's a small market cap company. Still, market cap is less than 9,000 crores. So there is a lot of room for the growth for the company in terms of sales and profits. Uh, Technical parameters are looking very good. The stock is clearly a performer when compared to other stocks. RS is at 96, one of the top class rating. Buyer demand is also very good. So overall, on both fundamental and technical, the stock is looking good. And if you have this stock in your portfolio, you are lucky enough to take the position at lower levels. You can continue to hold it in your portfolio, and you can keep a stop loss depending on depending on what the buy price is. Uh, if you are considered holding for the longer periods, then 50 DMA can be kept as a stop loss because that level has acted as a good support in the last 1 year. Next is Godfrey Philips, and we are time is already past 5:30. I think we can take a couple of queries and we can close the session and call it a day. If you have any unanswered queries related to stocks or research related queries, you can write to us on our email, and we'll be taking time to answer them, and we'll give a reply on email as well. Godfrey, which is again related to retail company, which mostly cigarette related company. The growth has been tremendous. You can see EPS is at 98, indicating strong growth rates for the company in terms of sales and EPS. The recent breakout, which happened in the October, was successful, and the stock advanced more than 30-40% from that breakout. And again, it formed a new base pattern. And current base pattern is a stage 2, and it is currently trading in the right side of the base pattern. Volumes have come in the last couple of sessions, and if the volumes stay on these levels, definitely the stock will break out from the base pattern. It is still 8% to the pivot, so anything can happen from here. If there is some shakeout from the investors, and the stock might retrace back towards its 50 DMA. We are not sure how the stock will break out, but if the volumes continue to stay higher, when the stock is going higher, then definitely it's a very good contender for breakout and 20-25% up move from the breakout. Rishit, do you want to take a query, or can we call it a day, or what do you say?
Yeah, I think let's take one last query and then call for the day.
Sure.
The SBI card, let's swipe it and so good action today only. The query came at a very good time. So to the benefit of all the participants, you can see it reclaimed its 50 DMA on a very good volume. So it's been long. If you see from here, so यहाँ से उसने breach किया था 50 DMA को. So if we say, yeah, somewhere in September it breached its 50 DMA after a failed breakout. So it had formed a cup with handle. There was some good breakout, but it failed, and ultimately in September it breached its 50 DMA. Since then, it tried once, thrice, a lot of time to move above that moving average, but it failed. But today, finally, it moved above the moving average on a very good volume. So it becomes a very good technical setup. But we don't go for a bottom fishing ideally. So it's in a swing trading point of view, if we see from our other product, then this is very attractive. But from the canceling point of view, the MarketSmith India's model portfolio, we wait for some more technical strength. We wait for the 200 DMA reclaim, some good base formation, and then we try to buy high and sell higher rather than going for a bottom fishing. But yes, overall the setup is quite good. So if someone takes entry, then 50 DMA and the recent low somewhere around this 735.40 zone becomes an important stop loss for this stock. Yeah, overall the business of the cards is good, so no problem over there. Fundamentally, it's a good story, a good stock as well. The ROE is higher, the EPS growth, the sales growth, all have been good. Some deterioration in the technical front, damage काफी है. Price strength is just 38. Buyer demand is a bit poor. But yeah, some aggressive investor who are going for swing trades, then that's a perfect 50 DMA reclaim. Let's see if it can sustain tomorrow. Okay, so thanks for joining the session, guys. Any queries if you have missed, you can always email us. We will reply within a day or so. We don't take more than that to reply the query. So I hope it was a useful session to all of you. You got to learn few things. And so thank you very much for joining the session. So tomorrow we have a pre-bell session at 8:45 a.m. So Raj will be there conducting the pre-bell session. So at 8:45 a.m. you can join if you want. We'll be discussing about the markets for tomorrow. So till then, thank you very much for joining the session. Thanks
Yeah.
everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining. As mentioned, I hope it's a good learning experience to everyone here. I'll be taking tomorrow's pre-bill. Hope to see you again at 8:45 in the morning tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.